On the agenda, Councillor Diamond, you had a question of works?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It leads to a motion. So shall I do the motion first so that I'm not told I can't move a motion after I speak? He's smiling.
Well, I think you'll need to make a motion for leave to introduce. And since they don't know what you're going to be introducing, it might be wise if you ask a question of works. It's not commenting, it's a question. So that way you would give members of council an idea of what you're trying to do, and then it would solve the problem whether we have the leave to introduce or not.
I'll move that I be given leave to introduce a motion relating to...
Do you want to wait until you hear what it is? Go ahead.
She's my eager seconder. Okay?
I know.
Leave to introduce a motion concerning instructing staff to work on the community communications plan with the two committees. So it would formalize that process. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor England, that I have permission to introduce this motion.
Over 50%. All those in favor of that? Opposed? Carried.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Neal that Council instruct staff to initiate public consultation on the draft community communications plan and extend the comment deadline from November 30th, 2012 to March 30th, 2013, and that copies of this resolution be provided to the Energy from Waste, I've got to get the initials right here, Waste Management Advisory Committee and the Energy from Waste Advisory Committee. The intent of this is simply to have the public continue to be involved, to ensure that we are communicating with the public. It doesn't interfere in any way with the process that is proceeding with the incinerator itself. But it would speak to the public in terms of consultation, of communications, of understanding. The deadline, we were told that November 30th is, first of all, far too fast. The regional chair had suggested a little shorter time. My concern was over Christmas, and that if there isn't a rush, don't make it a rush, give people time. The staff would determine the communications process. It could be from the website, it could be advertisements, whatever is considered appropriate to ensure that the public is informed, involved, and has an opportunity to speak to council. Then it's to inform the two committees, and particularly for the committee meeting tonight, so that they know they don't have to have information back by the end of this month. They would also have the chance for due consideration. So I ask council to support what we've said all along, which is good communications, that we support working with our public, and that we give ourselves and the public time to do that effectively. Thank you. I ask for a recorded vote, please, Mr. Chairman.
Anyone else on this? Councillor Perkins?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, the delay in the date. Could I, please, through you, understand from our staff what implications that might have?
If we just defer to the date mentioned, it's not. If we just defer to the date that's been mentioned in the resolution, it's not a problem. Any further delay will be a problem.
Okay, and secondly, we have a communications department here, do we not? And do they work with the individual departments to put together communication plans for things, or do the departments do it in and of themselves?
It's a joint effort. Works has communications people, but they all basically work through Ms. Munns.
Okay, so the request that's being put forward, who would that who would it involve? Would it involve both?
This is a communication. This is a communication plan of the EFW. It's not.
I understand.
It's.
I understand, but I'm just trying to understand who would be involved. Would that just be Public Works? Would we be asking our communications people from Ms. Munn's area to be involved? How does that work?
The answer is both. It's driven by Works Department staff and we do it in consultation with our embedded communications person who reports to Ms. Munns. So it's a joint effort.
Okay, I'm getting a little bit nervous here because when you're putting together a corporate communications plan on anything, it's based on a lot of factual information that has been vetted through this council. And that's where the basis of the information is from. If I understand this correctly, that's not going to be necessarily where the communication piece is from. We're now going to have two outside committees that are going to be able to vet that and add things to it or put some conditions upon. Have I got this correct?
I'm not sure what you're thinking about this. Basically, the draft communications plan, and it's not a communications plan, it's actually a communications plan to the community. That's been submitted to the Ministry of the Environment. What the resolution will do is to hold open the comment period until the spring. We'll receive the comments from various sources, including the two waste management advisory groups, as well as the general public. We will list all those comments that we receive. We'll forward all those comments to the Ministry of the Environment with our, editorial comments associated with that. And the Ministry of the Environment will either approve or disapprove the communication plan.
So is the only thing here that's different the date?
The only thing that's really different is the date and an extended period for the public to give comments.
Okay. And so if I could hear the piece again about the committees, because we're hearing now from Commissioner Curtis that the committees will have, in the process that exists now, their opportunity to communicate?
No. Well, they have the opportunity to communicate, but the way it would normally run is my staff have carriage of the communication plan. We developed the communication plan in consultation with our communication specialist on staff.
Right.
But there's no further requirement to report back to committee. We won't be reporting back to Works Committee on this.
Okay, but you said that the comment period, that's for what's going to the ministry?
Yes. This plan is going to the ministry. It's already been submitted to the ministry in draft form. Public comments will then inform that draft that was submitted, and the ministry can make changes as they see fit.
So both of those committees can make comment
Yes.
whether or not this motion goes forward.
Absolutely. The only issue with this motion is whether they have to comment by November the 30th or whether the comment period can be extended until the spring.
All right. So I'd like to hear again what the other piece of the motion is, please, Mr. Chairman, before I make any further comment. There's a piece about the date. There was a piece about our staff and
there copies of the,
no, could you read it all again?
have you typed it?
Yep, we got
Can we put it on the screen?
Put it up on the screen.
The council instructs staff to initiate a public consultation on the draft community communications plan, and that the comment deadline from November 30th to March 30th, 2012. That copies of the resolution be provided to the FWAC and WEMAC.
Okay, thank you very much.